Super cranky. Super cranky. Super cranky. Super cranky. Super cranky.
First off, I don't care what you people say. Never follow rules. I'm a trendsetter anyway. Okay, I march to the beat of my own drum. They say I need rules in my life. Well, I got some. That's one. Kill the competition. Two. Be a loyal dog. Three. And if they snitching on your man, send them to the morgue. Four. When you party, go hard till you hit the floor. Five. If you didn't see me do it, what the hell you asking for? Welcome to my world. SINA.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Big Llama Show live stream. This is Blackout AD. I'm the Big Llama. So tonight's show is a little bit different, obviously from a look perspective. Looks similar to last week's show. The difference is we unfortunately are not live. We are, we're both traveling. I'm going to be on the road to Tennessee. AD's traveling back to Colorado, so. But the show must go on. The show must and has to go on. So we want to make sure that we don't leave you guys without the show on Sunday nights. I know you guys look forward to it. If we are both in a position, and I think I will be, but AD might still be on the plane. If we're still in a position, we might be chatting it up with you right now. So look in the chat. We might be in there. We'll definitely interact with you guys. But thank you so much for joining us on the special pre-recorded live edition. That's fucking
sounds
stupid.
So
the pre-recorded edition of the Big Llama Show for Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Episode 80.
Episode 80. Oh my god, dude!
Man, we're almost there.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while since that we've done this. 80 episodes. I think I did the math, not the math, but we saw I think that Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
And YouTube sent the wrap for the year. 17,000 minutes of content that you and I have put together. Which is insane thinking of how we started.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got topics from DC. DC's the big money maker right now. The one
overhaul.
Oh my God, they definitely are overhauling it. You've got the new Spider-Man trailer that came out, and Avatar: The Way of Water is coming out. I think this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
Is it this weekend or next weekend?
It might. I feel like it's this weekend.
It might be. It might be.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, so I got to go find a theater in Tennessee to go watch that because I'm going to be gone on the road until next Thursday sometime. So we'll have to figure that one out. But listen. First things first. Let's start with the channel. I just wanted to give you guys a channel update, and we'll get right into the DC stuff. So, if you guys have seen on the channel, first two things. One, there is a premiere happening on September 25th for the Star Wars Holiday Special. Oh, what did I say?
September.
I said September? Damn.
This guy's in the past.
I'm in the
He's in the past.
I need some more to drink. It's early. You know what it is? We're recording this early. It's too early to think. December 25th, I have a premiere scheduled for the Star Wars Holiday Special. It is my Christmas gift to you, the Llama Nation. I say gift because I suffered. I suffered through this special. Listen, I'm not going to give anything away. You have to watch it. But I will tell you, if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll enjoy some of it. If you're not a Star Wars fan, get something heavy to drink at 10 o'clock in the morning when you watch the show because it took a lot. It took a lot. So that's happening. I will have one more movie reaction before then. I just am contemplating which movie it is. And actually, I'm going to be recording it probably tonight and editing it while I'm on my road trip. So it will pop up at some point. I just don't know which movie, and I don't know when it will be. But I definitely have the Christmas one there ready to go. And then if you guys haven't seen, we're doing trailer reactions. I got right back into doing my trailer reactions. That's how I started the channel. That's the original premise for my channel. And movie reviews. So I'm just, I have a little bit more time on my hands. And I really do enjoy doing that type of content. So you're going to see a little bit more of that while I have some time. And obviously the movie reactions are the number one thing. We're going to do a bunch of those as well. So, so guys, stay tuned to the channel. Please make sure you like, subscribe, let everybody know about the Big Llama Show, and support right now. If you're watching this on the live stream, please make sure that you hit like and you share it out to everybody that we're live on the air. So, okay, so that's the channel updates.
Wait, don't forget to get your merch.
There you go.
Big Llama merch is my first time wearing it. So it's nice. Nice, comfy, good-looking shirt. Yeah. Birdie wore it out. You know what I mean? We were representing the Big Llama Show when we went out and met all our foreign friends. So I can't wait to get back and actually deep dive on the stories.
Oh, I was gonna say
every time, man. And we're going out Friday again, so I'm like, you already know it's gonna be another.
So, all right. So you've been here a couple of days now.
Yeah.
We hung out your first night here.
Yeah.
We did the show live. So you just kind of hanging out. What's your plans for Florida? You just kind of.
Yeah, I've just been hanging out. I mean, I'm here for a graduation. My sister has a gender reveal on Saturday, so.
Oh, okay.
I've basically just been just roaming the streets of PSL.
It kind of all worked. And this is her husband had the graduation, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw him on there. So congratulations. He's a
firefighter.
Oh man,
graduated fire academy.
Hey, that's great, man. Yeah, that's great.
Smart guy. I want to grow up and be like him.
He is a good dude. Yeah. He is a good dude, and so I'm happy. I'm happy for him. I did see the pictures on Instagram.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, get your merch. Links in the description.
You already know.
All right, so let's talk the first thing, the big news. Obviously, DC is doing a big overhaul. We got, James Gunn is taking over creative. This is huge. And what he did was something that I don't think we would have seen. I didn't think this was going to happen this way, but he basically just shut the whole fucking thing down, and he's starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And the biggest news was, Henry Cavill is no longer going to be Superman, and that is a huge blow given his cameo in Black Adam, and given that he announced that he's back.
I think they set themselves up.
I think so.
I think DC set themselves up because the James Gunn thing, to me, doesn't come out of thin air. I think the James Gunn thing, and to be fair, I think the meetings, because there was that's where all this news was coming from.
Yeah.
James Gunn and I forgot the other guy. Peter, do you know his last name?
No, he's Peter. Who gives a fuck? That's
it's James Gunn's partner, but they were having meetings clearly with different people, and Henry Cavill and them met. So I think maybe there was we might still have you. Let's see what direction we want to go with this, or where your head's at, maybe. And I guess they decided, at the end of the meeting, like, let's go our separate ways. And another big thing out of it was Ben Affleck. There's talks of Ben Affleck actually directing in the DC universe.
Yes.
As opposed to being, Batman. So obviously, all the characters we kind of know of. I don't know if they're going to recast maybe like Gal Gadot. I think we talked about this last week. I think that would be a good move because she was such a good Wonder Woman. And maybe with the new direction they're going, they can have like a little bit more Wonder Woman. I don't know. I feel like that's a good superhero to have, and she was a good character.
Yeah.
Aquaman, same thing. Like, we'll see. There's talks about him being recast as like Lobos, which is like a bad guy. So they have different visions of this, and I'm kind of glad we're getting it out now. But I think like with the Henry Cavill stuff, people are so upset.
Yeah, I mean, he all right. So he's not my favorite Superman. My favorite Superman is Christopher Reeve, but I was looking forward to him doing a less Snyder-esque type Superman.
Yeah.
The brooding, evil, like dark Superman is not what I would like for my Superman. But I thought it would have been a great opportunity to give him a new direction. But at the same time, James Gunn understands, and I think this is what people don't understand about his move. You have to. You can't retread shit. And that's what DC has been doing. They've been retreading shit over and over again to try to get, like, the magic. The magic doesn't happen unless you start from scratch. And so you got to get rid of anything old and say, you know what? We can't do this. Like the Snyder stuff, yes, there may be a character or two that you like. Again, like Henry Cavill's Superman, I would have kept him, right? But I get it. They need to get rid of the slate and say, okay, this is our new face of DC, and it's always been Superman. Superman and Batman, those are the two. Yeah. The Batman himself, or the Batman, the one from
Matt Reeves.
The Matt Reeves Batman. He is not the face of DC. That is an offshoot character doing a different story.
I like that too as well. Like,
yeah.
Because that Batman has like it just has a otherworld feel. Same thing with the Joker.
Yeah.
So I think those properties are good, but they did say that they were like looking at a younger version of Superman.
Yeah.
So I think they're just gonna go younger all around, because when you think about the Snyderverse, like that cast was already kind of like older.
Yeah.
We got the battered Batman. He's already like past his prime in a lot of sense. So I think like going with a younger cast, giving them a little bit more longevity with these characters, and again, James Gunn, coming from Marvel and learning from where he, great filmmaker, coming from Marvel, seeing what that machine already's done, and now getting the helm his own. I think this could be good for DC, man, and they need it because when it comes to movies, because like Birdie makes the argument all the time that DC has the better animated films.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can't deny that. So it's like those properties can translate to real life movies. It's just how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, and so you have to break some eggs. You have to piss some people off. And Henry Cavill, I think what Henry Cavill's firing really sort of means is that it's over. And I think that's clear. So the Gal Gadot, is she still Wonder Woman? Is up in the air. Patty Jenkins is not the director anymore. She's had squabbles with them. She's had to clear the air. I think she put out a statement saying, "Look, it wasn't me. It was them." But at the same time, it's clear vision. It's like, okay, this was all part of the old regime. It's got to go. Yeah. And so, again, I think Gal Gadot is gone. I think Aquaman, Jason Momoa is gone.
I think he's gonna get recast.
I think so too.
I do think he's gonna get recast as another character. The Gal Gadot, I do agree with you. Like, she might be gone as well, but I'm hoping I like.
Oh yeah, no. I think she's a great representation of Wonder Woman. The problem is she comes with the baggage of the Snyderverse. So you got to get rid of everything. And unfortunately, this may or may not work. And this is the other thing. This is what James Gunn is sort of... And the good thing is that James Gunn is such a good storyteller that if this doesn't work for him, he's still going to have work.
Oh, yeah.
He's just not going to be running a studio anymore. But like, he's taking a huge gamble here. Now, again... Creatively, I think he has a vision. Yeah. I think he's got a roadmap, just like Feige did. I mean, he learned from Feige, so this is kind of the same way. Just like when Iron Man came out, I think when Iron Man came out, and from what I read, it wasn't that was going to be the start of the cinematic universe. I think they were like, okay, if this is successful, we can build from this. So let's build a story that maybe has an arc.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had like, see, this is the thing that James Gunn gets that Feige didn't. Gunn gets the benefit in knowing that this is going to be a universe.
Yeah.
I think Feige had an understanding of, hey, I've got a series of movies that I can probably tie together, but I don't think he was planning the full. And now once Iron Man hit big and the next two hit big, he knew at that point. But so again, Gunn has a tall task. But again, listen, man, I saw a couple of reviewers and reactors were pissed and they're crying and they're,
understandably, like I saw. I don't know if you ever watch Angry Joe reviews.
No. But
he's one of my favorites. But he loves Superman. And I think he really did enjoy like the Henry Cavill like Superman. He's kind of been like talking about it throughout the years. Like they kind of mishandled Henry Cavill as Superman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He had he looks like fucking Superman.
Yeah. But he always wanted Henry Cavill in like a brighter Superman more than like we got a lot of obviously the Spiderverse is darker, whatever. But he was going crazy yesterday when the news came and he dropped a video and he goes on these angry rants, kind of like the llama rants, and he was going nuts and I think his main point that he was mad about was that like why would you tease us with an after credit scene when and again we don't know what came first in terms of like the after credit of James Gunn signing. But I mean, I said it before, but I think that was a stupid move because it's like if you don't plan on using the Superman, you're just and then that kind of like diminishes the Black Adam like movie. Like, what are they gonna do next? Like,
right? What's The Rock gonna do?
Have you heard about that actually?
No, I heard with Cavill gone, the discussion moves to The Rock.
Yeah,
is The Rock still part of it? Is Hawkman?
Yeah,
is he still part of it from the Black Adam frame? Like that has to be sort of sorted out too.
Yeah.
Like, but my feeling and I read that James Gunn has been working on a treatment for Superman. I think he tweeted it out or somebody wrote. He's been working on this, so he knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
he's writing it. I think he may even direct it, but. That's the tentpole. That's who launches the franchise for the Justice League.
Yeah,
you'll find a Batman, and Batman movies are pretty. I wouldn't say simple, but I'm just saying Batman movies will come. I think he's taking personal initiative on this. Now, I think Black Adam was scheduled to not do necessarily well, and I think the Henry Cavill stuff helped create excitement.
I read not only that, but I read that like. The Rock's camp was kind of like leaking numbers to make it seem like they were doing better than they were because we were talking about that as well when the movie was like, I think probably like an episode before the movie came out or two. Mm-hmm. We were talking about how like the hype wasn't there. Like we feel like I know me personally, we feel when there's like a movie coming and we're like, yo, we got to go see this. I mean, we're talking about Enter the Spiderverse or Across the Spiderverse, like we got to go see that, So we know when a movie's like bubbling and it's got a feel of like it's gonna be a big movie. Avatar, you know. Yeah. But Black Adam didn't have that feel, and there was a lot of like I was kind of like, was I wrong? Like because I was shitting on it, and then I go look and the numbers are better than I thought, and then you were shitting on it, and I was like defending the movie, and I was like. But now I read it back, I'm like, oh, maybe they bamboozled me, like The Rock got me, which would be understandable because he's such a big movie star. It's like they don't want to see him in a movie that flops.
Right. Well,
that's bad.
He's got so many projects in the hopper between his production studio and his TV company. He's got a lot of things brewing. So you don't want him to have failure. Yeah. Because then it translates to everything else because of perception. But. From the things that I read, the box office numbers were a little bit overinflated, but still projecting to have a loss. in terms of with the marketing and the everything else that comes with it. So that's the knock right now on Black Adam. So one, it wasn't a profitable, wildly successful movie. It was panned by critics and it has split from audiences. And people, I think, hit it on the head what that movie was, which is it was a action movie with minimal, story, and it had a lot of great set pieces, and it was just a lot of fun, and that's okay. But when you're building a universe, it's got to be a little bit more. But so that's on the table. I think The Rock is. This is James Gunn's biggest challenge: is how is he going to fight The Rock? Because this could get fucking ugly with him. Because think about it, The Rock has a lot of pull. And so does James Gunn right now, but
not The Rock.
I mean, it's his universe. It's James Gunn's universe. It's his studio now. The Rock may have to take his stuff and go somewhere else, man. I don't know, man. Because and then Shazam is in trouble. Like there's 4 movies coming out. Was it Shazam, Flash, the Beetle, right? The Blue Beetle. And
that's still coming out.
That's
still, something I wanted to see.
Still on the slate.
That's the actor from
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, yeah. Yeah, I want to see that.
And Aquaman. So you have these 4 movies who I think are in post-production. So it's not like they're still filming. I think a lot of them are wrapped up. They're just they just have to be distributed. They may go to the way of Stream. I don't know.
Not the Flash, man.
Not the Flash. No, I think the Flash. But someone's saying that James Gunn could touch the Flash and make everything go away. Meaning the Flash could be the end point of everything. And you've said that. It could be the end of that universe, starting something new. So if Gunn is smart, he'll do that. But now it puts those other movies in jeopardy. Do you really want to go see a Shazam 2 if you know that they're not going to do anything more with the Shazam character, right? Yeah. Aquaman 2, which again, Aquaman 2 took too long to come out.
Way too long. I have no desire to see it. Actually, with all the Amber Heard stuff, that was the last time I was I want to see that movie. I'm excited to see that movie.
Exactly.
But now that I'm thinking about it with the Patty Jenkins thing, Wonder Woman 2 was kind of, what was it, Wonder Woman 84 or whatever?
That was mid.
I didn't even watch it.
No, that was mid.
I watched the first one, enjoyed the first one, was a fan. But the second one, now that I'm thinking about it, didn't even watch it, had no interest to even go back. Same thing now you're saying, I know there's not going to be a third one. I'm definitely not going to go watch it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like you've got these movies in jeopardy that they have to make decisions on. These movies are going to tank.
I mean, I think Shazam, I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard read because it's if Aquaman comes out, will it fail? Maybe, but will people go watch it? Probably. Yeah. Well, Flash, people are going to go watch it. There's too much. I mean, that movie's gone through ups and downs. Ezra Miller having trouble. People are gonna go watch that movie.
The Flash is like the train wreck or car crash. Yeah. You can't look away, but you gotta go see it. You gotta go check it out.
And the fact that they're still putting it out is how good is this movie gonna be?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talks that Ezra Miller's portrayal, because he plays a couple from Word on the Street, maybe spoilers, I don't know. But he's playing multiple versions of the Flash, so it's that was one thing. Is we can't cut him out. He's more than one character,
Right.
We'll see. Maybe it's a great movie and they bring him back. What? That would be the craziest. That would be James Gunn's we want him.
Well, Ezra would be what James Gunn was. Remember, James Gunn was canceled. And then they brought him back, and he's back on top. And Ezra is canceled, that guy.
Yeah, but for good reason. Ezra's canceled, I think, on another level than James Gunn. James Gunn
on a legal problem. That's he's got some problems. But listen, the Flashpoint would be a very interesting movie. The problem is just how do we market these movies? How do we get people to go see these movies? Because there's and given the climate today, right? You have built-in stories that tie into each other, and people are now conditioned for comic book movies to have threads all the way through. Unless you tell them specifically these are side movies or a side story, like Joker and the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman. Why am I going to go waste my money to go see Aquaman? Why am I going to go spend... Now, Blue Beetle, I'm interested in.
Oh, Blue Beetle, 100%. Yeah. Just because I've never seen the character. Again, Spanish representation. You don't see very much of it. But now I'm thinking maybe they market it like the end of the Spiderverse, the end of
Yeah.
The passing of the guard type of thing, maybe.
For those of you who love the Spiderverse.
Yeah, like
this is he'll probably James Gunn will come up with a hashtag end of Spiderverse, the final Spiderverse.
I'm curious of the direction they're gonna go because obviously, again, the young Superman, cool. That's one main character from the Justice League that we got.
Yep.
But James Gunn's talent, or at least he's shown us, Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody cared about those characters until now.
Yep.
Peacemaker. Nobody gave a fuck about Peacemaker.
Peacemaker is amazing.
Until we got, honestly, the Suicide Squad like showed light on Peacemaker, but then once we got a show and like really got full-fledged characters, I mean, you got the, what's his name, Vigilante, like characters like that.
Yeah. That
like nobody, kind of people nobody really knew, B-list, C-list characters. So I'm interested, like, we might get a wave of, it happened with Marvel. It wasn't the top level characters that we got that started this off. It was B level, C level characters that they made people care about. So I think that's kind of the strength of James Gunn. That's where I think they might head. Like, you need a Superman. You need maybe a you don't even need a Batman right now because Matt Reeves clearly got that unlocked. So it's like
exactly.
You can introduce Batman a little later.
Or sprinkle it in, like an ominous, like, hey, the Bat, like this guy is coming.
He's around.
Whoever he is, right? We don't know, but especially if it's young Superman, because they didn't really know each other very well according to the comics. But no, listen, it would be very interesting how he builds the stories, and you know what? It will be fun. It will be fun to go back to a point where everything is new. And I think that's kind of what I'm excited about is that old, because I started watching the old Marvel movies just in passing. I grabbed Iron Man, I grabbed a couple, and I just was watching it. I'm like, man, I miss not knowing what was next. I miss not knowing that this character, or when they introduce a character, that character is going to be a bigger role next movie, and so he has the chance to do that. Like we capture the spirit of comic books with these DC characters, and so it should be exciting. It should be fun.
Now, do you think they go the route of Marvel now in terms of like having movies and streaming stuff at the same time simultaneously? Or you think?
I think.
Do you get burned out by that?
I kind of do only because it's constant. Like you have to keep watching, and if it's not entertaining, then like if there's a couple shows that were mid, you're like,
you gotta get through.
I gotta keep watching it because I don't want to miss it.
And we're making content off of it.
Of course.
So like we have to like. It's not like we can stop watching Hawkeye and then
exactly
talk about it.
Well, and that's the thing. I think what James Gunn did with Peacemaker is a good example of what to do, which is. Yes, it's a story, and yes, it's part of the universe, but it's its own thing. It's its own little thing. It doesn't build upon it, and there may be a funny cameo here and there, which he had the Justice League in Peacemaker, which was hysterical. But it was it was a wink nod moment. It wasn't like oh my god, Peacemaker is so critical to the story and it builds upon the next movie. It's just look, here's Peacemaker doing Peacemaker shit and it's funny.
Ezra Miller in there, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, Ezra and Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman was there. Yeah, and they had Cavill in Shadow.
Yep.
Oh my god. We're going to edit that shit out. No, we'll keep it in. We'll keep it in. We'll do it live.
Nah, but like it's interesting. I mean, this is a good point for them. Again, like now that I think about it, a Peacemaker. Like imagine instead of like the Suicide Squad, they have their own separate stories in shows.
Yeah.
Like Idris Elba's character was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see
the
more
Ratcatcher. What was her name? Interesting character. Or even like a Suicide Squad show, like because I think with James Gunn coming back, or James Gunn taking the helm, Suicide Squad is going to be prevalent.
Yeah.
You might get a Harley again. You might have Harley again. Even though, what do they do with Margot Robbie's Harley? Like at this point, it's like
you could keep her because she works in all elements. The problem is you can't do the see. Margot Robbie, again, not saying the actress isn't great. She's good in doses, in small doses, in parts in movies, in terms of being Harley.
Mm-hmm.
when she's the star of the movie, it's different. But what I'm saying is like that character, like in the Suicide Squad, like the most recent one, it was fun. Her moments were fun, and then she goes away for a little bit, and she comes back. And so I think that's proper use of her. And I think they've overexposed her because from the first one, they wanted to make her a star. That was good. She had her own movie, right? The Birds of Prey. She's in the Suicide Squad. They want to build this around it, but again, you forget why she's good. It's because it's good in small doses. You cannot have a Harley Quinn the entire movie. She's not even in the comic books. I don't think she was like. Now again, if you want to dive into her deep, dark, psychotic backstory with the abuse that the Joker gave her, that's fascinating shit.
Yeah, and that hasn't been done on screen.
No,
not even close.
Right. So you can go there, but then that's a whole different.
I think
way.
I saw her. You've watched the Harley Quinn cartoon, or whatever?
Yeah.
So supposedly she wants to do like a live action of like how in the show she's dating Poison Ivy. She wants to do like a live action version of that. But my thing is like, bro, where's her Joker? Right?
Again,
obviously it was Jared Leto, but it's like he's never coming back to be Joker. So it's like
right. It's a yin to yang. Like you have to have one to have it. Like Batman is, yes, he has many arch nemesis and villains. But the Joker is a mainstay. Like you have to have a good Joker, and until you have, and that's the hard part of building the universe. Like for example, and this is weird. I would never have imagined before the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe that Tony Stark would have been the catalyst for the first 4 phases. Like I wouldn't have even thought it because honestly, when I watched Spider-Man the cartoon, I watched the different comic books. Iron Man was a side character. I was not that interested in the playboy, the guy who has all this money, and I could give a shit about that guy. And so when he became the central character, it was because of the story. It was you picked the right actor who embodied the character.
I think that's 100%.
Yeah. I mean that's the key. You get the right Superman, the right Joker, the right Batman in it. Then you can start introducing the Guardians, like the Guardian type characters, and again Thor. I never liked the Mighty Thor comics. I thought they were boring.
Yeah.
But now Thor is so integral in the MCU that you don't even know how it existed without him.
Yeah.
So again, that's storytelling. That's putting him in the right place, and I don't know.
That's the thing we don't give as like fans of like the comic book movie genre.
Yeah.
Marvel did, obviously Marvel's, first plan phase 1 and all that.
Yeah.
All that went well, but their casting was to me by far the most important thing they did was like casting the right person. Like even their Peter Parker is like the most Peter Parker-ish out of anybody, even though, to me, Tobey Maguire is like that's the one I saw first. But
Right.
Tom Holland is more Peter Parker than anybody else. Like you said, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth as Thor, like perfect casting.
Yeah.
Who else? What's his name? Peter Quill.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Chris Pratt. Perfect casting.
Yeah, that was amazing. But he fit this character that you were like, no, that makes sense. That's him. Gamora makes sense.
Yep. Drax. Everybody.
Oh my god, yeah, Drax was great. Even Groot, like, even though it's Vin Diesel, Rocket. Yeah. All these guys, like each of these characters, after they've hit, you cannot see anybody else in that role, and that's the great casting. And then again, that's the same thing for any of those Marvel guys that they haven't missed. I honestly have, except with the exception of their villains. The villains are give or take here,
but I think that's due to bad writing.
Yeah, because you have great actors.
Think about the villains that do work. Namor most recently.
Oh yeah,
Namor works. Killmonger, same thing. Like Thanos, obviously. Loki, even like Loki's probably to me the best villain because he works in any style of movie.
And now with Kang the Conqueror, you've got. Yeah. Majors is just a great actor. So
overall, yeah.
He's going to morph into whatever, and the fact that Kang is multiple roles, is
different versions of him. We saw, we got an experience of that at the end of Loki when they show us He Who Remains. It's like, that was like my first like, oh wow, like this guy's gonna play different versions of this character, and he's probably gonna kill them all, you know. So again, good casting. So it's like for James Gunn, I think right now that's the most important part. Like cast right, and you know, start small. Like don't obviously, you know, I don't need to tell him what to do, but it's like if you're gonna go with the young Superman, go with it.
Yeah,
let it work. You already know Peacemaker's a hit because guarantee we're getting another Peacemaker.
Oh, of course,
guaranteed.
Of course.
I don't know if he's gonna maybe direct it. Maybe I don't know, but we're definitely gonna get another Peacemaker.
Yeah, no, I think John Cena. You get another season, maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah,
as long
or
as
maybe a movie. I would enjoy one movie. I'll be happy with that.
I want a Vigilante movie. That guy's fucking hysterical.
That's crazy.
But Vigilante is in my opinion like Harley Quinn. Good in small doses. I mean, he's funny. He's good comedic relief. Would he carry an entire movie? I don't know. Yeah. But again, he becomes one of the most popular characters out of that show, and he's just his lines are phenomenal. Like the writing for him was amazing.
Yeah.
So again, we'll have to see what happens. It's gonna be very interesting. The only last point I'll make is that Marvel is entering kind of a lull right now. Like they are gearing up for something big. The problem is you've got this tricky situation. Fantastic Four, the X-Men, which are all on the horizon, and they're working on those things right now. If they don't hit those well, that's James Gunn's opportunity to blow it out, like to start getting some leverage, some headway, because those are 2 big properties, X-Men and Fantastic Four, which up to this point, right, have been hit or miss depending on the director, depending on the writing.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four has had like 3 iterations now. X-Men have had 2 or 3 iterations. You know, the new cast, the first class, all that other shit.
Yeah.
If they can get that right, then they're going to cruise for the next couple of phases. If they don't get it right, it's James Gunn and DC's opportunity to start kind of saying, look at that mid shit you're watching over there. Watch this new shit that we got. Yeah. So I think that might be an interesting sort of, you know, back and forth. But man, what an amazing time to be a comic book and movie fan, that you get these 2 competing studios with great IP fucking duking it out right now. And this is going to be, again, that's what people don't understand. It's like, you don't have to pick one over the other. You don't have to be a DC versus Marvel. You don't have to.
Llama.
No. You
ever notice that the Marvel logo's red and the DC logo's blue?
Yeah. Red state, blue state. We're voting for characters now. No, I mean, listen, I enjoy, again, Superman has been one of my favorite characters of all time. But I've enjoyed the Marvel stuff more. Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man. You know, I love Wolverine. I love these different characters from each of the different. I love Batman. Batman was like a staple for me. But for me at first, I never saw it as I'm a DC guy. I'm a Marvel guy. I just love the comics and I love the stories that they were telling. And for a long time, I thought DC Comics was on top because Superman and Batman had these graphic novels. The Joker had the Killing Joke or the Killing Game. They had all this like great, you know, like it was as I was maturing, had great content for me as a younger adult.
But that's the thing with the DC, like just as far as like they've hit the, like with the Spiderverse, all that. It's like they scratched the surface of what lore they can use, what lore they can pick from, characters they can pick from. Right. We haven't seen anything like. That's one thing. I mean, again, with the Spiderverse, they were trying to play catch up with Marvel, and that's where I think that's what their mistake was. From the beginning, was like trying to compete with Marvel instead of doing their own thing. But what Marvel does great is like they tap into all the nerdiest lore you can find.
Exactly.
They know what people are gonna look for. They at this point they know what's gonna get EA Voss to make a video. You know what I mean? Like they know the type of things that, I mean, even like the whole Mephisto thing of him talking about Mephisto for so long.
Exactly.
And now they're like starting to tease more Mephisto things and like,
and he may not even be coming.
But so I think that's where DC is like, that's what DC and James Gunn need to do is like, let's dive deep in this lore. Let's see some interesting things that we haven't seen on screen again.
Yeah.
A Harley iteration of like how her relationship is with the Joker. we haven't seen a good Green Lantern.
No,
you know,
that's another good one.
So it's like there's a bunch of things we haven't seen out of DC that, man, I'm excited. I think they got the right person to do
it. And you know what? Now that you say that, the Green Lantern Corps could be their Guardians of the Galaxy, because the Green Lantern Corps, there's 100 of them, right? Like but you can take a good core 4 or 5 of those guys and build your version of Guardians. So, and not well known. Right, there's a couple, but they're not all well known.
There's like Hal Jordan, which is the main Green Lantern. And then
yeah.
I don't know anybody else. You know, like,
right? No, I thought that, honestly, I only thought there was one Green Lantern for a long time, and then I found out there was a Corps, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting, and they're all different, you know. And so I'm like, man, now that you said that, I'm like, damn, that could be the Guardians. That would be great. So it would be interesting, very, very interesting. So guys. Tell us what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys let us know, what's your thoughts on it. Like, again, I support James Gunn's vision right now. I don't know what the vision is. I just know that he has to restructure. And being in the corporate world for a long time, that's inevitable. Like, sometimes you have to break down the whole department to say, let's just bring in, everything brand new, start brand new. And then sometimes that happens and it really well, and sometimes it sucks. But we'll see. We'll see. And again, Patty Jenkins out. Henry Cavill is out. Jason Momoa is still in, but the jeopardy or the state of those movies are in flux right now. And I heard they may even be moving launch dates and everything else. So we'll see what happens. And so it's an interesting time. So James Gunn, we'll see what you're gonna do, man. We'll see.
You're on the clock.
You're on the clock, man. Because nerds like us need to fucking know. All right, so let's talk about. You want to talk about Avatar or the new Spider-Man?
We go Avatar.
All right, so the new Avatar is going to be released this weekend. If you're watching this, you've probably seen it. It is an impressive runtime of 3 hours and 12 minutes. I'm looking at it right here on the Rotten Tomatoes, and it's showing a Rotten Tomatoes score right now, critics score of 82%. I don't believe the embargo has been lifted yet for full reviews.
No, probably tomorrow.
Or
tonight, technically.
Yeah, but most people have given their first impressions, and it's not that I expected it, but it sounds like what I thought it would be. Have you heard anything on the? Or have you read any of the reviews?
I've heard just it looks visually good. We knew that. I did hear that like the weight of the story kind of gets to people. I heard that a couple times, but I haven't heard any details that I don't. Personally, I don't care. I've never watched the first one. I'm not really too keen on. Maybe I'll go watch it just because it's a spectacle. I love the theaters and the popcorn. But like my sister, when I saw them the other day, she brought it up and was like, "Yeah, it's a 3 hour." She even said it was like. It's 3 hours, but like I want to go see it. Like, so it's got the casuals because they don't go to the movies for anything really. So it's got the casuals like curious, and she even said like I don't remember the first one that much. So it's like maybe there's hype behind it in terms of like just casual fans, like they want to see a spectacle. You want to get into the theater. Yeah.
Well, it's an event. It's an event movie.
Yeah.
So event movies will have big opening weekends. It's the prediction of will it be like Avatar, the first one, where it had such a long stay, and people. It became an obsession because it was all brand new. First of all, the first Avatar sparked the 3D revolution in the studios. Everybody redid all their movies that weren't even filmed for 3D. They redid them all in 3D after that. But again, it was brand new technology. The story was mid. I'll tell you the first.
That's
one.
all I remember. Like, cause I remember vividly like watching it. Like not watching it because I don't remember the movie itself, but like I remember like my parents getting the movie because we used to get like every week we would get new movies.
Yeah.
So I remember my parents getting it and putting it on, and I remember like me being like, I'm going downstairs.
Yeah.
But that's all I remember. Like I was like, this doesn't. I for whatever. I don't think I saw the whole thing because I didn't sit through it for sure. But whatever I saw, I was like, it didn't attract me, especially at that time. So like to me, what can you do like story wise? Like you might give us some emotion, you might put some action pieces in there, but it's like it's been so long. Like,
Right.
are people, did lore continue after that first Avatar? And like you said, like it was such a phenomenon that maybe there was, and like people kept up with it this whole time.
Yeah. Well, what people were saying, I think, about the first one was they just kept saying it was the experience of going to Pandora. It was the visuals were stunning. No one that I remember during that time was like,
that third act went crazy.
Yeah, no one was like, "Oh my god, the story! Did you get that plot twist?" No, it's a pretty basic story, and I think James Cameron was he said this out that the first movie was about deforestation and corporations taking over the forest. So the Na'vi were the forest people. Here comes this giant evil corporation. They're tearing down the trees, which the trees have life, but not like life as we see it, but literal life. And so it's like, the trees are their ancestors. So there was just all this, like these visuals and this sort of like in your face, environmental message.
Yeah.
But no one like was surprised by the story. It was like evil corporation are the bad guys. The natives are the good guys. Fight, and that's it.
It's just basically Thanksgiving.
Exactly. But and that's the thing. It was such an amazing achievement and even I think even some of the reviewers who saw this movie, the new one, compared it to the old one, they said the creatures, the Na'vi, the people look way better. Like they're cleaner, like more textured. So even the first one had its flaws.
I mean, it had limitations, like you said. It was the first one.
So the second movie, again, based on reviews that I've read and things that I've seen, reviewers I've seen on YouTube, it's kind of the same story. The difference is it's not trees, it's water. So, you have this evil empire, this evil corporation taking over new areas, now impacts the water and the water people. And so now it does build, and I did. One reviewer said the movie builds to a sequel, which can piss people off. Like if you don't have a good buttoned up story and you just kind of leave it wide open for sequel 2.
But it's like, whoa, we're gonna wait another 15 years for it.
He's working on Avatar 3 and 4 right now, and I think somewhere he was quoted saying he already has the makeup and story ready for 5 and 6. This guy is ambitious, and they're letting him do it. But I think the success of this movie will depend a lot on whether or not it has sustainability, where it can continue to earn money.
I mean, we look at movies in terms of like story and stuff. So like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe if the movie just delivers visually, makes people feel something throughout the story, I think it's a win probably. And like you said, like to me, I mean, like the fandom of what it was when it came out probably grew a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like people probably waited for this movie, like, because we've been hearing about this movie for, at least I have, for years at this point. You know what I mean? Like knowing it's coming and it's finally here. So it's like, I don't know, maybe, I guess. My thing is like, if the story's ass, listen, and I'm not saying it is, but like if the story's ass, how good do the visuals really carry, you know? Like,
and that's the thing. So here's where I think this movie makes money, is the water visuals that they're putting together. Again, what they're saying is that James Cameron did it again, which is like put you in an immersive experience, an immersive world where you buy the characters, you buy and you sort of forget that you're watching a completely computer-generated movie. Yeah. Which is good. And so I think that's where you have, again, the reviews have been all pretty consistent, which is amazing visuals. They've improved on the story, but the story really hasn't changed. The one thing that he did do, again, this is strictly from reviews that I've read and things I've seen, is that he added a little bit more heart to the story. So that way, because that was the big disconnect, was the emotional sort of attachment to the characters.
That's one thing. If the story's ass and they give us characters that we care about, then it doesn't really matter if the story's ass, because now you're getting characters you care about and good visual looks. Right. So that's 2 of the 3. But it's like, now for them to have 4, 5, 6 planned or being thought of, it's like eventually one of these movies are going to have to hit with the story. It's not just, you're not, and That's the thing. This one's gonna get. I think it's gonna be successful. I think it might maybe touch numbers. And again, since pandemic has cleared up and people started going back, we're starting to see these numbers go even crazier than they were before.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Just because the sheer factor of like people got trapped in their house, and now these are giving them reasons to go out with the family, all that. So I think this movie's gonna do good. Now the series going forward is like, if we have to wait another 10 years for another mid storyline and just good graphics, like will people care again? Will you get them with the same trick 3 times in a row? Maybe. Maybe 4 times. I doubt it.
It's got to be quick success. Like, it's got to be a quick turnout for this next one, because supposedly it ends not on a cliffhanger, but it ends to build for the next one, which again could be a good thing. But if you, like you said, if you wait 10, 15 years for the third installment, what makes me want to do that? Now, 3 hours and 12 minutes. There are some movies that can pull this off without you looking at your watch, right? There's a couple. There's I think Green Mile.
What was the last movie we watched that was long?
That I watched?
We both watched it in theaters.
Oh God. Black Panther.
Black Panther, and people like, to me that was a good story.
Yeah.
I kind of went in knowing it was gonna be long, but like people were saying they were looking at their watch and that had good story.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, it was a good movie, but there are some things you're like,
did we need that? Like people were saying, like cut out the Riri part. Like they didn't want but
there's just something. All right, so there's some things that, and this is because I've watched a bunch of '70s movies for the damn channel. Is like I just watched the James Bond Dr. No from 1962. When I tell you that movie could have been 30 minutes fast, like you could have cut 30 minutes of that movie, because there were so many just scenes of setting up the like what you're looking at. Okay, he's in Jamaica. I don't need 16 scenes of the island, of the water, of the people, without James Bond, without anything happening. It's the same thing with Black Panther. Yeah. There's a couple of those establishing shots, which they were good. I enjoyed the movie. I wasn't clock watching, but I did feel a little bit of the length. Yeah. There's only a couple movies that I know of that are 3 hours in length that I have never looked at my clock. Like one is The Green Mile. I think that one clocks in a little over 3 hours. The Godfathers, both of those clock in at just over 3 hours or a little bit under. And again, those are the rarities that go 3 hours, and I'm just like, oh my God, I need more. Yeah. So this is a big like shot. Like you're shooting a big shot here, because if you have a really kind of shitty story, but again, if you don't want to miss something visually, you might not get up to go. But I missed that app. What's that app? I think it was called Run P or something like that. Like they used to tell you when you go to the bathroom during the movie. Oh, no. I missed that app. I don't think it's still running, but I want to know that for this movie, because I'm gonna. I mean, 3 hours and 12 minutes. You're asking for a time commitment there. Yeah. That's another thing too. That's what makes it an event movie. Is like, oh, Titanic is another one, and now Cameron did that one. Yeah. That one was close to 3 hours. And I don't ever look at my watch during that movie. I've actually watched it the other day. Don't laugh, man. I see you. I hear your judging and disapproval. But yeah, Titanic was one of those. But you're asking a lot of the audience. You're asking a lot of the moviegoer to sit there and invest 3 hours plus. So think about this. You've got minimum 20 to 30 minutes of previews. Yeah. Plus a 3 hour and 12-minute movie. Right. You're almost 4 hours, man. You're at the theater. That's a whole day for somebody. So again, will it have now the 82% Rotten Tomatoes score right now is from the critics' reviews. That serves it well. That means it it's not being panned. And it's not the highest rated, but we'll see what the audience score is now once people start to go see it. And we get those audience reviews. Definitely by this weekend, we're going to know, was this worthy? And then, the box office number is going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
First week, at least.
Yeah, first week, yeah. The pre-sales are pretty good. But see, again, where are the stories? And this is what I look at. Where are the stories of servers crashing? Where are the stories of tickets being unavailable, tickets being sold on the black market? Where are all those stories? You had it for Spider-Man. That was like the huge thing. They crashed every server on all the pre-sales. Doctor Strange had the same issue. these big movies that are expected to do really, really well first weekend. I haven't heard one thing about getting a pre-sale ticket.
Yeah, but I think it's unfair for those comparisons just because, remember, the rumor mill was going crazy for both those movies.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just, I think, to me, that just adds to the hype of the movie, the ticket sales. Like, you hear, like, oh, Toby might be in it, Andrew might be in it.
Yeah, but
Doctor Strange was like, anybody can be in this movie.
And they duped us on Doctor Strange, but that's what I'm saying. It's a marketing ploy. It's a marketing tactic.
But again, like, how do you get people hyped for this movie that's past it looks great? Like
they're going to do the old marketing, which is after the first opening weekend, they're going to hype it to be the event of the century. They're going to say, this is a movie that cannot be missed. It must be seen in this format, in this theater, theater type. And that's the other debate with this movie is supposedly the visuals are stunning enough that you don't need to see it in 3D. Like some people have said, look, if I went to go see it in IMAX, whatever, it's so clean, it's so nice that I don't feel the 3D would do it any better. And then you have other people who are saying, look, you gotta go see this thing in 3D. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And so, me, the glasses guy, hates 3D only because I have to wear the glasses on top of my glasses. So there's a whole element of annoyance for 3 hours. I don't know. But because it's spectacle, because people say you gotta see it in 3D, I may go do that. I may just brave through 3 hours.
You're bougie with the theaters.
I am very bougie.
I ain't never gone to an IMAX theater in my life.
Listen, when you move back down here, I'm taking you.
Yeah, we gotta go to one.
No. Listen, you'll be my movie partner. Man. So we say we're gonna go see the movie. Yeah. I'm gonna get you a ticket. We're gonna go. And if we're going with Mama Llama, we're going to the fancy Dolby Theater down in West Palm. Like that's now like the standard. There is no other standard for this house. She must see it in the Dolby Theater, and not even for the reasons you think. Not for the sound quality or the Dolby Vision, which is an amazing laser projection. No, it's the seats.
She likes the seats.
She likes those seats. And it is clean and it is really, really nice, but I go for sound and image quality.
If they got a bar and popcorn there, I'm sitting wherever. I'll sit on somebody's lap if I have to.
What's funny is I remember seeing, which is a good transition to the next one, which is the Into the Spiderverse. I remember seeing that, and that movie flopped, by the way. But I remember seeing it in the theater like the week it was about to get out of the theater. We were bored one weekend. We're like, oh, let's go to the movies. We heard about the Spiderverse movie. And I went to a really shitty theater around the corner here. And we loved the movie. And I'm like, damn, this would have been amazing to see in IMAX. Yeah. So after that, we started to go to the movies for sure. But, so anyway, before we get into that, so Avatar, The Way of the Water, let us know if you're excited about it, if you're going to go see it.
If you saw it, by the time this came out.
Yeah, so by the time, and obviously we don't like spoilers, so if you're in the chat right now, don't spoil it for everybody if you've seen the movie. But, let us know if we're right on our predictions. Remember, we're recording this before the movie comes out. We haven't seen the movie. And by the time you're watching this on Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you might have seen the movie. So let us know if we hit on that or if we're completely wrong in our analysis. It would be fun to watch that in real time. But we're talking about it and they're like, you guys are fucking wrong. You guys suck. You guys are idiots. you guys don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, so Avatar Way of the Water, that's coming out this weekend. Hopefully you guys get to see it. Hopefully we'll see it in Tennessee. You'll be...
I don't even know if I'm going to see it. I'm going to be honest.
It's a big commitment, man. 3 hours, man. That's a long time. It doesn't
excite me. I don't care about the people. I didn't watch the first one. And if I watch this one, I have to watch the first one. So that's however long it is. We'll see.
I know.
We'll see. Yeah, I might get bored.
All right, so the next topic we want to talk about was Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Yeah. And that's the... and now, here's the thing. I'm starting to get glitchy. Look at that shit. Let me get out of this. Some technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. Now we're back to normal. So, so stupid. So, Across the Spiderverse has it's one of those movies that was built up the old-fashioned way. Like, it came out. If you were a diehard fan, you went to go see it. It did not make the money they thought it would. It was considered kind of a flop. But I think shortly thereafter was the pandemic, and people got to watch this movie. It was on streaming services. I think it was on every streaming service. People bought the Blu-rays. When I tell you that, again, I went to go see it the last week it was in theaters, and I honestly didn't know what it was about. It was an animated movie, so I wasn't like, I wasn't expecting greatness out of an animated movie.
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem. Like, that was the issue. Is like, no one knew how to market this thing to tell you that this is going to be an amazing spectacle. And
this is a good film.
Yeah, it's a great film. The story is good. The
characters are relatable.
Yeah, I mean, and it had, I think, honestly, the most like modern urban soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know, and it had such inclusive characters. The mom's Puerto Rican, the dad's black. He's mixed. You got these characters, and you got all the Spider-Man. Like, there was just so much to sort of digest in the movie that I don't think they knew how to sell it. So now, fast forward to them greenlighting the second movie. Now the hype is through the roof.
Yeah,
the hype is through the roof for this Spider-Man movie. Now you know there's going to be a Spiderverse, and you know that there's going to be multiple characters. You saw them in the first one, but now it's just insane, the level of Easter eggs and the level of which Spider-Man is going to be in it. And this last trailer that just dropped had so many Easter eggs that I watched the trailer and I said I can't digest this. I'm going to wait for EA Voss to break it down. I even tweeted and tagged him, and I was like, I watched the trailer, I loved it, but I'm waiting for you to break this thing down.
Yeah.
Because there were so many things in the trailer. And even though the first minute of the trailer was all from movie one. But when they got to the Spider-Verse and you saw multiple characters for 30 seconds, blew your mind.
It's kind of concerning. Because it's like, where's the story going to go? It's going to be, I mean, obviously, it being animated.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about the first movie. The animation, to me, was like one of the prettiest things. I saw, I talk about it on stream a lot, but like, I saw this movie for the first time on acid.
Oh, okay.
So you can imagine, like, the bright colors, like,
oh, shit.
It was like, and it was like before I was tripping. But it was like the perfect, like, I got to see the movie and, like, understand what was going on, but it was just, like, enhanced.
Yeah.
But it was, like, one of the most visually appealing, and obviously that has a little bit of bias towards why I like it so much. But realistic, like, the animation's crazy. My thing is, like, they've been kind of marketing it well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They haven't given like too much of like what the story's gonna be about. Since it's animated, I don't think it's gonna be hard to like have all these. We saw hundreds, literally. Like,
yeah.
There was like 100 Spider-Man. So it's like, I don't think it'll be that hard to like have all these characters around. Because if it was like realistic or like a real movie, you would kind of want some character building with these guys. But since it's a cartoon, I think they'll get away with like not having too much character build with a lot of these Spider-Man. I think like. The villain they chose, which is Spider-Man 2099, who's like a Mexican-Irish Spider-Man, which is dope.
Yeah, it's Oscar Isaac, right?
Oscar Isaac's playing it.
Yeah.
I don't know much about like where they're gonna take that story. You know, like there was like a clip of like Spider-Woman who's getting played by Issa Rae, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yes. She got the big afro.
She has an afro.
Yeah, she looked great.
Yep. Then that's the dope part is like Spider-Woman never really looked like that in the comic books, you know. So we'll actually get to see a different version of Spider-Woman. There was like a clip of like her and Oscar, and it kind of looked like she was like part of being like maybe on the bad side.
Yeah.
You know, like a tease of that.
Well, she was contemplating like, is she doing the right thing? Yeah. That's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah. Good point. So like they kept really the story under wraps, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like. It could be taken either way. I'm just excited for the movie itself. I'm excited to see like if we continue to get more animations like that. Because again, it was like one thing I noticed about the first one was like super hip hop.
Yeah.
For me, like at least like it felt like the culture I grew up in. You know, like the culture I grew around. the people I grew around. Like it felt more real than anything.
Yeah.
And these superheroes, you don't really, I always talk about. I said it earlier, but like I talk about it a lot, like Spanish representation, black representation. Like we don't get a lot of that, especially in these superhero things. So like to see an animated thing that like he got the Jordan ones.
Yeah,
Like you said, the soundtrack was like fit like what I listen to daily. Like I just hope they continue with that. Like I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Like I don't know about the story. I don't know. I haven't looked up anything. Like I've seen the different Spider-Man that they portrayed so far in the trailer. Again, it's so many that I know there's gonna be some that we're just gonna see just to see.
Well, to your point about the representation in that movie, it's one of those things where it's one thing to say, okay, we've got these characters, but you don't care about where those characters are from. Mm-mm. The story is good. It's a family story about a kid discovering his powers. The fact that he's mixed or his dad and his mom is Puerto Rican, like it doesn't matter because the story's good. But I love to see it in there, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's one thing if you put him in there and you do stereotypes with it, right? You do cliche shit and you go, oh, mommy's cooking, arroz con gandolas or some shit, and you're just like, all right, whatever, like it was just a family in New York, and that's how people in New York talk. That's how they get along. Yeah, and so. That was the good thing about that movie. Now, the one thing I'm worried about this movie is I heard that a couple of the creatives on that from the first movie are not in this one. Or like that they might have left or there were some issues. I don't know. I think they had a pretty good formula. I think, it's an Oscar-winning movie. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I didn't think... because it was a Spider-Man movie, because it was, I wasn't expecting much emotion and character building. I got emotional in that movie. Again, I'm a sappy fucker.
Yeah. I did too. Though. I did too.
Yeah, I got emotional at the death of the uncle, the way that the dad spoke to Miles and that whole story. Yeah. Man, I was just like, damn. But I forgot it was an animated movie. I'm watching this thing and I'm just enjoying. Like, there were some obvious things. Like, it was the most comic book movie I've seen, right? Like, it's got the pages. 100%. You've got the delayed. You've got the textures on the screen. That was my
biggest takeaway from the movie. That it was like, it felt like a comic book come to life.
Yeah. And it was great how they put it in your face. They're like, here's episode 1 of the comic book. They opened the comic book and they, and I'm the only Spider-Man. They kept doing that shit. And it was just, it never got old. It was so much fun. And then just visually... just stunning. That sequence when he gets his powers and he playing that I'm not scared in the background and he jumps off the building. Mm. I mean, like goosebumps for a fucking animated movie. For a cartoon, I got goosebumps and I loved the feeling I got. It was a rush. It was like, damn, look at it. He's got it, right? And when he gets his suit, man, it's just like the whole thing is just next level. So it's got some pretty big expectations, I think, this new one. I think it's going to be good. I think the fact that we don't know a lot about the story is good.
The villain, I think maybe Oscar Isaac's character won't be the villain.
No. I think he starts off as the guy to try to fix something's broken. Miles and Spider-Gwen broke some shit. Yep. Because she says it herself. I thought we were the good guys. So they broke something. They're going to go after these two. And then I think Oscar Isaac, if I'm guessing what the movie's going to be about, he has an arc. Something looks sinister and it's not. And then the true villain will be revealed and they'll gang up and team up. And then maybe it's Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. Like it might be, and that's like Civil War. Like whose side are you on? It depends on what you thought was right and wrong. So same shit. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be really good. I think... I am excited for Issa Rae's character because she's sassy and she's got attitude and or does she play it which way does she play that character? But it looks like they're giving her a meaningful story. You're not just the woman in the story. She looks like she's again from a 30-second clip of the trailer. I got that from that piece of animation was she's second guessing something. I don't know what she's second guessing, but she's second guessing it. Yeah. So. I think this is going to be really, really good. I think, when does it come out? I think it comes out February.
Pretty soon, yeah.
2023 is going to be a big year for movies. So There's a lot on the slate for sure. So, and that was just a teaser. It was just a teaser that came out. Actually, there was a teaser before, and this was another one. I think this was an official trailer, but it only had a small snippet from the new stuff.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this movie, or the old movie, and then probably this one, is they give the fans some fan service in terms of little nuggets of things, and little things that, like when they had the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah,
it was Stan Lee's voice. I think it was just before he passed. And then the death of Spider-Man. What? I didn't expect that. Like, I was like, crushed, and I was like, damn, this again. If you guys have seen my channel, I cry very easily on everything. But again, I get myself. See, that's what I do with movies. I let myself go. I release the sort of walls, and I enjoy the story. So, watching an animated cartoon of a Spider-Man dying should not put me into a deep depression, but it does. I get wrapped up in the story, and the storytelling is good.
Yep, testament to the writing. And then what we want from the Avatar movies, the caring about the characters.
Right.
Because even if you have a bad story and you care about the characters, you're gonna go along with the story just because,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's not too much we can say about it because until we get like an actual trailer or just watch the movie, which we'll probably get maybe like in January we'll probably get another trailer.
Oh yeah. I think they're gonna start ramping up the promotions for that one, so we'll see a little bit more. But I hope they don't tell me a whole lot.
Yeah.
I want to know as little about the story as possible. I want to be surprised. Plus, dudes like EA Voss and all these guys on the internet are breaking down every frame. So there's a good and a bad, right? Like I like the fact that they gave me all those Spider-Men in there, but I don't want to really know why they're all there.
Yeah.
I kind of want to learn that as I go.
Yeah.
And I did this for Ant-Man in the Quantum.
Quantum.
Yeah,
Quantumania.
Yeah. I basically have not watched EA Voss break that down because he's going to tell me everything about this movie and I'm going to be not surprised. And so sometimes it's good, where I need to know something, but other times I'm like, And that's the evil of EA Voss, man. We've said his name a couple of times. Hopefully the algorithm picks it up.
Yeah, what's up?
Hopefully he watches this shit and he breaks down all the shit in our background. How about that? I'm going to issue a challenge, EA Voss. New rock stars. Figure out what the fuck I got behind me. Can you name the comic book back there? Can you see my old jacket on the other side? Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it, though. Like, I think the first one definitely, I don't know if you've seen it, it's like, Kid Cudi. It's a Kid Cudi.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny Bears. You watched it?
No, hold on.
You should. It's a cartoon on Netflix.
No, I have not seen that. No.
You should. It would be a great breakdown. But I think the first Spider-Man, gave, again, people of color, the idea of, man, we can turn our stories into, animations.
Yeah.
And I think following that, Kenny Bears, honestly, a lot of things he does, I enjoy. But, this cartoon he dropped, gave me that same feeling of that first Spider-Man movie where I was like, man, it's the culture. It felt what I go through, what I live through in life, in a cartoon. And you don't see that too much. Even black animation is it's not prevalent. I mean, Boondocks, you got stuff like that, but
but even Boondocks is kind of an over dramatization. It's kind of hyping it to it's I'm not saying they're making fun of it, but at the same time they're kind of it's a very outlandish look.
Yeah.
It's funny as shit though. I love that. I love the Boondocks. But listen, man, I'm telling you, man, this is going to be a great one. I'm going to go see it. IMAX.
Definitely an opening weekend.
Opening weekend one for sure. Avatar, like I said, I'm traveling, so we'll see about that one. But Across the Spider-Verse, because not Into the Spider-Verse, you're now going across it. Let me know if you, and I think it's part one, right? There's a two-parter. I think it's a two-parter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they have they put in a lot of work into this movie, and they're going to have two parts. So guys, tell me if you guys are going to go see this movie when it comes out. What you think of the trailer? Did you pick up on the 100,000 Spider-Man that were in there? And let us know if you're excited for the movie as well. Should be, again, must watch for me. I'm gonna definitely see it. I'm gonna buy pre-sale tickets for it and everything. So I can't wait for that one to come out. All right, so I think that's everything. I think that's all. We don't have anything else, right?
We could talk a Scream, but that's about it. Man.
Oh yeah. Well, you want to give your analysis on my trailer reaction?
This guy.
My mid-trailer reaction, which I called mid myself.
Yeah, you did, but you can't save yourself from that. No, I mean, you didn't watch the movie, which I advise you watch it.
Yeah.
Because I saw it in theaters. Great movie. Honestly, I like it. I don't know. I have a bias towards the Scream franchise just because it was like the first, like, that was like the movie that my parents like tried to like scare me with when I was younger, and like I have stories of like being terrified of the Scream mask. You know, again, growing up Jehovah's Witness, I have one Halloween where I dressed up and like Gabe was with me, and all my cousins were with me, and the one house I go to is this guy with the bloody Scream mask, and I ran down, I left all my cousins there to die. I'll forget them.
Hey, flight or fight, man. That's it, man. I'm flying away, man. I'll see you later.
Yeah, but yeah, with this trailer, and that's one thing I wanted to like critique you on, because that's where like my critiques come from, was like when you were talking about how the genre being in New York.
Yeah.
Which understandable for like older movies, I get, but like just the setting they picked, you know, New York with Halloween, I think adds a different element to to the movie that we haven't really, nor will we see. You know what I mean? Like we haven't seen something like this. I think the trailer like kind of it positioned it well. Like it was like there was a couple Ghostface mask in there. Right,
because it's a known franchise.
Yep. So. And plus you got to think in canon, in Scream, they have the Stab series, which is
the movie,
you know, their version of Scream in it.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that the trailer doesn't show you that, you know, me being a movie nerd, we know. But I think this is going to be like a legacy type of thing. Like there's it's kind of spoilers. They kind of released it, but it's not crazy. There's a museum that has all the original, you know, obviously in the movies, they have all the original Scream masks or the Ghostface mask.
Okay.
And what they wore while they were actually killing people.
Oh.
So there was like a museum in New York with all of it, and there was like a shot where all the masks are missing. So I think there's going to be a lot more than just it being in New York in Halloween. You know, I think it's going to be... I think the story is honestly like it's shaping up to be like kind of interesting. There's talks that the guy that plays Shaggy and Scooby Doo, I forgot his name, Matthew Lillard.
Oh yeah.
You know, he was in the first one. There's talks that him might be coming back because he wanted to come back in the last one and they didn't. So there's like a lot of things that can go right for this movie. Obviously you said that's another thing I hate. He's like, Jenna Ortega's my favorite actress. What, off of Wednesday? This guy, hype beast. This guy's a hype beast.
No, listen, but I think what you're describing is very intriguing, and now changes my view.
But it doesn't show any of that in the teaser. So it's like, again, if you didn't watch the movie, you're not really up to it. You're not gonna know what's. Even if you did watch the fifth, Scream. It's Scream 5, but
or Screams or whatever it was called.
Yeah, it was just Scream. I think it was just Scream, but it was Scream 5, and even if you did watch that, you wouldn't really know about like what's coming up, because like there's like, I mean, it showed it on the trailer, like the the trailer card. Yeah. It was like an old mask like beaten up, and they're saying that's the original mask of like the original killing. Okay. So there's like some lore that's going to go behind it. So I'm just intrigued to see it in New York, because like there was like a release on like Entertainment Weekly or whatever, and he was like in a bodega with like a shotgun, and I was like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like there's things that we haven't really seen in a Scream franchise at least.
So it's not just to put the slasher in a different city.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's something more to being in that city.
I don't think so. Yeah. And again, you gotta. Well, you didn't see the movie, but these kids have ties to the original cast.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were in the previous Scream movie.
Right? Yeah. So the Scream 5, I think they all moved for like college or whatever to New York, and they all got away. Like Jenna Ortega, spoiler, it's been out for a while, but she was like supposed to be the first kill, but she didn't die.
Okay.
Which is like the first time in Scream franchise that the first kill that they showed didn't die, so she survived. So that's one thing. Her sister has a big part with somebody from the original cast, like bloodline related.
Oh,
so
okay.
there's a lot of things from the original movie that they're again legacy characters. It's almost like they're trying to like, this is the next gen of like the original cast, not necessarily all the movies. I guess like Hayden Panettiere was in like Scream 4 or something. She's coming back. So there's a lot of things with this movie that that teaser trailer really didn't like explain to you. But I think honestly, like where they're going with the Scream franchise, it might become a more not sophisticated, but more better, well told story than just it being a slasher film that has like who did it. There's talks that there might be a cult. That's why there's a bunch of missing masks. So it's like there's a bunch of ways that this movie can go.
So I'm looking at it pretty like in a basic level.
Yeah.
Which is
understandable because again, that's what they showed you.
Right. No. But even like I've only seen I think the first 2 Screams or the first 3.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like that's my exposure to it. There's much more to it.
Yeah.
So I think not knowing the lore and the story behind it, it becomes a very basic story to me.
Yeah.
Which is why my analysis was don't do the Jason Takes Manhattan. Don't just put the slasher in a big city, then it just like kind of ruins the whole vibe. But now that you're telling me the story behind what is in New York and what's going on, it makes a big difference. So,
yeah, they could take it anyway. I personally want to see the cult of like the ghost face mask personally, just because I think, especially being in New York, because you did make a good point of like, there's so many people in New York. Like, it could be anybody.
Right. And that's again, but that's only from taking it a lot from part 1, which is you have this very small group. Yeah. Everyone's a suspect. Everybody could possibly be the slasher, and then when you find out who it was, you go, "Oh fuck," But when you open that window and you go, "Here's all these hundreds of thousands of people," you kind of for me it takes away from the who done it, who did it, But again,
my thing with the Scream franchise though, because like, I mean, the first 2 at least were definitely like they were making fun of like that genre.
Yeah,
and that's what it was like, super meta. On the genre itself, you had the person that was into the scary movies and was telling you what was going to happen to all these people.
Exactly.
And they followed that formula in this last one as well. Like it was the same kind of like, because I think they called it Scream, and I think they were trying to reboot it. Mm-hmm. But then I think what they learned with the movie was like, let's not reboot it. Let's just keep it going. Build on these characters. It's the same thing. Like people are gonna love it because it's their favorite slasher or whatever.
Right. You love the characters. You love the people.
I just think there's like so many opportunities that they haven't done with these movies because they keep following the same freaking formula. Mm-hmm. Like maybe one of these kids that survived becomes the killer because of trauma. Like we never seen that. All the other ones had like they had other motives. Like there was like they had like they were like stepbrothers and sisters, and they found out later in life, and then started chasing them. Some dumb shit. But I'm saying like if they have one of like Jenna Ortega's character, she survived the killing and then gets traumatized and starts killing herself, and like like that would be an intriguing story. So I think this last movie kind of opened up a lot, and it did well. Like. For me, I mean, it was worth watching in theaters,
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the movie. I just want to see them continue like elevating it, as opposed to like just keeping it the same. This is the meta. At that point, it's already done. We've seen it many a times, and then they've parodied the parody. So it's like
I the only thing I saw last night, I was watching this this guy was live streaming Craven the Hunter, not Craven the Hunter, Craven something.
Wes Craven?
No, but it's like he's an ode to Wes Craven. So he had a panel on, and they were talking about how this could be the jump off for these guys to have their own Scream story. Like not that the previous characters weren't essential, but like if you're going to be doing like a reboot, this would be a good point to sort of say, okay, this is their new story, and move them, to the next phase if they're going to continue to do those movies. So, I had said in my review, I felt like my reaction was mid, but you called me on it. That's good. That's good. But see, look, this is why you need to be doing this shit here.
Yeah.
Because I could have done the reaction with you. And when you hear me say some stupid shit, you can call me out in the middle of the fucking reaction. You would have been like, dude,
I thought about that when I saw you post. I was like, damn, I wish I was there to like.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed like actually doing a reaction with it, just because. But again, it's not something I don't really tell people. I'm like that much. Like I'm deep diving Scream. Like
yeah. No.
But I am. Like I'm watching all this. I'm looking for leaks. I'm trying to like. I'll even find out who the killer is. Like, that's just because that's who I am.
Because that's who you are, man.
Yeah.
You're a very dark guy when it comes to that. You just want to know the fucking ending.
Yeah. But. Again, you didn't know that like Scream's one of my favorite franchises.
I had no idea, so no clue, and so
that's why when I was watching, I was like, he has no clue. I could have helped him with this. I could have gave him all the talking points for the video.
I said. Well, again, if I know that your plans may include moving down here at some point, so maybe we'll have more content. I would want to say, look, this was a fun episode tonight.
Yep.
Like, it is a different vibe.
It's easy.
It is such a different...
And we're doing it... I mean, let's be real. Like, peek behind the camera. We're doing it very, like...
Yeah.
Basic. Like, we have one microphone. Like, imagine we had two microphones. We're sitting across from each other. We can actually interact and conversate. Like, because we have to, like, look at each other like this. But even with last week's episode with Birdie being with us, like, I mean, the first time we did this, every time is a different energy. It's like... Yeah. This makes me... how do you say it? Like it shows me like I like doing this content shit. I love doing this content shit and like doing it in person and actually like having a place to come and like I was excited this morning. I was like I was up at like 8 a.m. Like what time are we doing this?
Yeah, you text early. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like I was again. I told you before we started, but like coming here is a different feeling than just hopping on my computer, logging in, and like, let's record something.
Well, and even like I said, even us like. Feeding off of each other's vibe, and I told you that when we did the last one, which is, it's just interesting to sort of feel what you're feeling and hearing what you're saying up front versus in the headphones and looking at the screen. Plus, the other thing too, honestly, it's very distracting when I have to maneuver, right? Or like look, what are you looking at? Like, there's so many like things that take my mind off of the podcast that. This was more fun and more organic and really, I think, what we're striving to do, which is get to the point where it's a conversation, and there's a herky-jerkiness that I don't know if you guys pick up on the show, that when he talks and I talk, like we have to give each other the space, because it's online. Yeah. So here we're going back and forth. We're like, even if we step over each other, I'm not feeling like I have to stop. We can have the argument. We can have the discussion. So, guys, I hope you guys liked this show tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully, we're in the chat with you. Again, AD is going to be traveling. I'm going to be on the road. I fully plan on being there. But, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight at the Big Llama Show, the Sunday night live stream. We appreciate everybody. This is our 80th episode. I mean, we never thought we'd get to this. Well, I mean, we thought we'd get to this point because we talked about getting to the 100th episode. Yeah. But it's just been a crazy journey, from the channel growth to us trying different things to the fight nights and the fight companions. It's been such a great journey. We've built such a great community, I would say, of people who honestly have become not only fans, but some of them have become friends. And honestly, this is why we're doing it. I mean, we want to be successful and continue on. So guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Tell everybody about the show. Yeah. But to be honest, if you're part of this community, you're part of this. You start to get to know the characters. You start to get to know us. It's a whole different experience. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. Any parting shots before we close out the show?
Thank you for having me. I got to shake your hand on screen. You know
That's it. We do it.
But appreciate you having me at the house. Appreciate the hangout after the live Llama show, man. I'm excited to be back and actually like I want to do this for real, like live every week. Like I think that's the goal. I think that's where we need to like start seeing ourselves in the future, because I think this show will be way better if we continue to do it like
and we'll invest in the multi-cameras and the mixers. We'll get it all in there. So guys, if you liked tonight's show, please let us know. If you liked it, hit us up in the comments. Again, if we're in the chat with you guys, we're mixing it up. Thank you guys so much for watching the Big Llama Show. We'll be back. Are we going to be back next Sunday?
Next Sunday, yeah.
No.
Well, Sunday after.
The Sunday, well, because it's Christmas.
Oh, it is.
Sunday
I'll
is
do an
Christmas.
episode.
All right, we'll figure out the logistics on what we're going to do for Christmas. But, guys, every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there will be a show. Something will be going on the Big Llama Show. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great night. Happy holidays,
Yes,
and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.